Hello and welcome to the World Tapping Circle. My name's Harry Werber and I'm filling in again this week for Sonia Sophia, who is probably on the way back from Burning Man right now. It's my great privilege and honor again to lead this circle and to guide all of you through this wonderful process of EFT. Tonight we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics with tapping, which is money. This is one of my favorite topics because it immediately brings up all of this emotional stuff for everyone, right? We all have a certain kind of relationship with money. Whether you like it or not, it's probably something that's present in your life. However much of it you have, it's either a source of joy and energy in your life, or it might be a source of great stress, as it is for a majority of people, certainly in this country, in the States. I think the figures of the last survey I saw about this was that money is a source of stress for about 90% of Americans. So I would imagine that's fairly consistent across different countries and cultures as well. But this is a big deal. Money is something that we all handle every day. It's something that we need to choose how we use in the world. And there's all sorts of choices that you're making all the time. The way that you spend money, the places that you spend it, the energy that you carry around the way that you allow it to move in and out of your life. I find that very often we have these hidden beliefs around money, particularly when you start to talk about the idea of being rich, of being wealthy. I know for me this is something I've been working on over the years to update my idea about what that means. We have lots of associations about rich people, certain judgments about what that means about a person if they have a lot of money. And I find that very often those kind of judgments are incredibly unhelpful, and certainly at a subconscious level are going to be limiting us from creating that kind of wealth in our own lives. Another very common feeling around this is that we can feel unskillful with money, because we're in this very strange situation where we idolize people that have a lot of it, celebrities, people in the public eye, successful business people, and at the same time we have no education as standard about how to handle money, how to make it, how to invest it, how to save it. These are things that we're not taught in school. They're life skills that are incredibly important that we're somehow expected to just kind of pick up along the way. But more generally what happens is that we pick up the same patterns as the people that we grew up with, the people that took care of us as children. And if you look at the patterns around money that your parents or your caregivers had, you might start to see some kind of similarities with the way that money works in your own life. So, before we go deeper into this topic, I'd love to say hello to everyone joining us on the call tonight, and to my lovely guest practitioners here tonight, Erin and Kirsten. If you would like to say hi, please use the chat window and tell us where you're calling in from and what your name is. I think we can probably see what your name is, but how you'd like to be called on the call tonight. Meanwhile, I'd like to introduce Erin first. Erin, please tell us about any experiences that you've had using EFT around this issue of money and abundance, either in your own life or with your clients.
Well, this is such a great topic, Harry, and thank you so much for leading tonight. Hi, Tapping family. So I think money is a really great topic to cover. I think because it just pervades everything in our life, and that's kind of how we use EFT. So you can come to money from a lot of different directions. So for me tonight, I think what I'm going to focus on for money is setting a little bit more specific goals for myself over the coming months, so that I can see how I'm doing, and actually kind of give a timeline. So that stuff that I'm a little more scared of seems obvious for me to tackle and work on. But I've seen really huge success in the past. In fact, I've increased my income tremendously, and I'm excited to see how what next level I can take it.
Absolutely. And thanks for sharing that point about specific goals. I think that's really helpful and really useful advice for everyone on the call tonight. We have actually covered this topic a few times in the last few weeks on the World Tapping Circle. So if you find at any point that the emotional charge around this isn't as high as you might expect, maybe you've cleared some of this out in the past already, and if so, great. But you can find ways of raising the stakes for yourself in this context. So maybe it's not enough to talk about, for example, if money was no object. I might ask you a couple of questions about, what would you do if money was no object? If you could spend freely. Maybe that doesn't quite get it for you. Maybe you need a particular dollar amount. If someone handed you 100 grand today, or if they handed you $1 million, like, what would you do with it? How would you feel about that? Would you feel comfortable handling that amount of money? Would you know what to do with it? Would you know what you wanted to do with it? Getting specific in that way is really helpful. So that would be a useful idea, getting specific goals, but also finding those areas that really stick at you, those kind of ways of asking the question that make you feel particularly uncomfortable. So thanks for sharing, Erin. Kirsten, please unmute yourself, say hi, and let us know how EFT has helped in your own life or with your clients around this issue of money.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all today. And so money is something that I've been tapping on for quite a while, and it turns out it can be a pretty complicated issue. There's a lot of social conditioning and whatnot. We learn a lot of things from our families, and I've gotten to a place where I feel like I've actually had a good amount of success, in that my relationship to money has been steadily changing over time, and I'm finally in a place where I feel more safe, or I don't worry about money in the way that I have for a lot of my life. For me, it's a really root level kind of root chakra issue that's a lot about survival, a lot about feeling safe, and it's interesting to just see how much money do you need in order to feel like you have enough, and that you're safe, and that you have everything that you need. And I see people, people can save up and save up and save up millions and still not necessarily feel like that's enough. And so that's just an aspect that I've been examining for myself around where I think being wealthy to me means feeling safe and being able to trust that everything I need will be provided for. And so that's an avenue that I'm also wanting to go a little more deeper with, of just that place of really feeling safe and secure in the world, like I have everything I need to survive in this physical realm. And so that's where I'm wanting to go even deeper with, because it's by clearing a lot of our money beliefs, it can really just change the way that we live in the world. So that's that's what I'm feeling about that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point as well, Kirsten, that we all know those people, or you might know someone in your life that you do feel has a lot of money, that has plenty, that will never want for anything in their lives, and you might also understand that they are not comfortable in that way still. We all can, I think, get into that mindset, that sort of compulsive hoarding mode of needing more security, more safety, more security, more safety. But this other place that Kirsten's talking about, this way of getting into that peaceful relationship with money, where there's this trust available, this trust that you will be provided for, that the world you live in is an abundant one, rather than one where resources like money are scarce. So that's what we're going to be aiming to move towards. So we're potentially kind of lowering the threshold that we need to reach in order to feel that kind of security and safety. And there's also different levels to this. It's such a personal thing that we're all going to be working on this in a slightly different way. For one person, a few $1,000s a year might be enough to live really comfortably. For someone else, it might be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Maybe you need $1 million to feel really comfortable and secure. What's really important, though, is your particular relationship with money, with this sense of abundance. Are you in this state of feeling that sense of gratitude, that sense of universal abundance, or are you in this state of fear and the need to stockpile and to hoard? So, with that being said, thank you to my lovely fellow practitioners here on the call tonight. I'd love to say hi to some of the people joining us on the call. I haven't got any chat messages coming in yet, but I'm just going to see who's here and say hi to Adrian and Celeste, to Ursula, to Amy, Kat, Julia, Kyle, Brooke, and Sahil. Thank you all for being here. There's definitely some familiar names in that list, some regulars, and I think maybe a couple of new people joining us on the circle tonight as well. So thank you all for being here, and thank you to everyone watching this all over the world at different times on replay as well. Let's get into some questions around this. We're going to use the core questions survey again. This is for you to really start to pinpoint some of your own issues around money. And as we get into this survey, I'd really particularly like you to pay attention to this question around what does your culture say about this issue? Because our culture has a lot of things to say around money. The list of aphorisms around this are almost endless, but some of the most well-known ones that we've probably all heard are things like money is the root of all evil, money doesn't grow on trees, money corrupts, money is power. Lots of very heavy negative associations around this topic. And I'd really like you to examine which of those are most powerful for you, which of those kind of sayings, phrases stick for you in your mind when you think about this topic. And start to tune into what some of these potential blocks are for you around this idea of being wealthy, of generating money, of making more in your life. So I'm going to screen share the core causes survey. We're going to take 5 minutes to fill this out. Please fill it out to the best of your ability. The more clear you can be about what you're feeling about this, the more benefit you're going to get out of this session. So let's go to the core causes, and we'll be back in 5. It doesn't look like that's displaying just yet. Let's try this one more time. Here we go. just about 1 minute left to finish filling out the survey, and please, when you're finished, click the small submit button at the bottom of the form so that we can share our results and go through them together. If you're already finished with the survey as well and you're sitting there wondering what to do, please do start tapping on your chest, tune into your breathing. And we'll be done very shortly here. Okay, please everyone finish up, hit that submit button at the bottom of the form, and we'll see if we can get some responses up on screen here. We're going to wait another minute or two because there's a slight delay getting the responses back in. Okay, I'm going to refresh this a couple more times, but it looks like we might have a slight issue with the responses coming through. I'm only seeing one response coming in so far, so we'll see. Maybe that's because people are feeling a little more shy about their responses tonight or are feeling like filling out the survey. I think more likely we've got a bit of a technical hitch here. Yep, still only seeing one response here. So let's get into the tapping anyway. The Core Causes survey is mostly to get you tuned into your own feelings around this. It's certainly helpful for me to have some notes around what people are working on tonight. Probably makes it more important that if you do feel like sharing, then you use the chat window here, and I'm just going to catch up with a few of the responses here. Okay, it looks like people have been having a bit of trouble accessing the survey. Okay, we're going to leave that behind for now. Sorry if you weren't able to access the survey. We will get into tapping about this anyway, and I'll see if I can add an extra couple of check-ins in here during the call so that you'll have a chance to share some of your experience and some of the intensity around these feelings for yourself during this anyway. So let's all start by massaging these points around the top of the chest. This is just beneath the collarbone points. If you're new to tapping, search around this area with your fingertips. You might find somewhere that feels a little more sore or tender today. This changes from day to day, so find that point for yourself today, and that's where you want to be working. Let's all take a deep breath. I'm tuning into this issue around money. Tap the eyebrow point. I'm letting myself feel what my relationship with money is like. And tap the side of the eye. This isn't something I'm very comfortable thinking about. Tap under the eye. Or maybe it's something I've addressed so many times before, it's exhausting. Tap under the nose. Even though I don't really want to talk about money tonight. Tap the chin. I'm letting myself look at this. And tap around in a circle on the chest. I'm letting myself feel what's uncomfortable here. And move down to tapping on the front of the ribs. And I'm trusting that it's okay to feel whatever I'm feeling. Tap the side of the ribs now. All of these emotions around money. We'll move now to tapping on the inside of the wrist. This is on the pinky side of the hand, on this bony part of the wrist. This topic brings up so much for me. And tap the thumb. And even though I'm feeling all kinds of emotions here, tap the next point, which is the end of the first finger. I still love and accept myself. And take a deep breath. Tap the next point. I'm examining my relationship with money. Tap the next point. However bad or good that relationship is. Tap the next point, the top of the pinky finger. I'm letting myself feel all the feelings. Tap the side of the hand, and treating myself gently as I go. Tap the top of the head. Even if part of me really doesn't want to look at this, tap the eyebrow point. I'm giving myself permission to look at it anyway. Tap the side of the eye. However uncomfortable I feel when I think about money, tap under the eye. I honor and respect myself anyway. And take a deep breath with that one. We've got some practitioners yawning already. Tap under the nose. Again, for those of you new to tapping, if there's anyone brand new to this tonight, yawning, burping, releasing energy in other ways is perfectly natural and part of this process. Tap the chin. So if you feel sleepy or if you feel yourself wanting to check out, trust that that's okay. That's part of your body beginning to release around this issue. If the intensity of this issue is going up for you as we're tapping here, then great. You're thawing out, as Sonia calls it, getting more to the root of what's going on for you here. So we're still in this phase of the kind of pre-tap here. Just dealing with any resistance that's coming up, tapping down on the chest now. So again, tune into any resistance that you feel about dealing with this issue around money. As I said, it can be richly emotional, but it can also be somewhere where we don't want to look, where we want to bury our heads in the sand about this. It can be easier not to look at this issue. So tune into any part of you that's still feeling that kind of resistance. Even though I'm still feeling some resistance here. Tap the front of the ribs. It's okay. I give myself permission to feel this resistance. Tap the side of the ribs. And I'm letting myself look at this issue anyway. And take a deep breath. Let's tap on the inside of the wrist. All right, now I'd like you to really tune into what the particular negative feelings are that are associated with this issue for you. When you think about this issue of money, what is it specifically that comes up? What's the emotion? Is it fear? Is it frustration? Is it a feeling of stuckness? Is it anger or resignation? Or the sense of not being skillful in this area? What is it that's specific to you and specific to this moment as you tune into this subject? And we'll tap on the thumb now. When I think about money, I feel, and fill in the blank. What is that emotion that comes up for you? Tap the next point. When I think about my issues around money, I feel. Tap the next point. And even though I feel this right now, tap the next point, the underside of the ring finger here. I'm trusting that it's okay to feel this. And tap the pinky finger. It might be really uncomfortable. Tap the side of the hand. Who am I kidding? It is really uncomfortable. Tap the top of the head. But I'm validating my feelings about this anyway. Tap the eyebrow point. Even though I'm feeling all of this, fill in the blank, fear, anxiety, frustration, whatever it is, tap the side of the eye. I'm giving myself love and acceptance. Tap under the eye. I'm giving myself compassion. Tap under the nose. Even though I'm feeling all of this, and fill in the blank. Tap the chin. This isn't how I want to feel about this. Tap around the chest in a circle. I'd love to feel free of this. Tap the front of the ribs. I'd love to feel relaxed and comfortable with money. And tap the side of the ribs. I'd love to feel like there was always enough. And tap the inside of the wrist. But the truth is, I feel tap the thumb. And right now, I'm letting that be okay. Tap the next point. Even though I've been feeling this for a long time. Tap the next point. I'm admitting to myself what I'm feeling now. And tap the next point. Even though I'm feeling all of this, and again, name the emotion, speak it out loud. Tap the next point. I'm letting myself talk about it. Tap the side of the hand. And I'm giving myself love and compassion at the same time. And take a deep breath. Move out to tapping on the top of the head. However long I've been feeling this way. Tap the eyebrow points. However long I keep feeling like this. Tap the side of the eye. I'm going to keep loving myself. Tap under the eye. And treating myself gently. Tap under the nose. Because as much as I want to hide this, tap the chin. Hiding it doesn't work very well. Oh, right? Tap the chest. Hiding it just makes it stick around longer. Tap the front of the ribs. So I'm speaking it out loud. Tap the side of the ribs. When I think about money, I feel tap the inside of the wrist. And I love and honor myself anyway. Take a deep breath. Okay, we're going to move through these next few points pretty quickly, just naming that emotion or whatever sensation that is for you right now, whatever discomfort, whatever icky thing that you don't want to talk about, that you don't want to admit is there when you think about money. We're going to name it a few times here. Tap the thumb. All of this. Tap the next point. I really don't want to feel this. Tap the next point. When am I going to be free of this? Tap the next point. Really sick of feeling. Tap the next point. All of this. Tap the side of the hand. I love and respect myself anyway. Tap the top of the head. Take a deep breath. And let's come back to tapping on the chest now. I'd like to have our first check-in here. I'd really love to hear from everyone on the call tonight, because I didn't get a chance to see your responses this evening. So please let me know where you're at the start of this call and where you're at now in terms of the intensity of this emotion. So we use this scale of intensity from 0 to 10. Generally, people start universally above a 6 with these issues. It's absolutely fine if that has gone up, because we've been doing some work around uncovering what the feeling is here. So please share where you're at the start of this call, where you're at now, and what the overriding emotion is for you right now, the particular feeling, the particular sensation that comes up. We'll just wait a moment for some of those responses to come through. As we're waiting for that, I'd just like to mention if the intensity of this is something I mentioned towards the beginning of the call, but if the intensity isn't yet high for you, if you feel like you're not getting to the core of this yet, or you're not feeling the fullness of the emotion around this, you might start to raise the stakes for yourself a little bit. Give yourself the question of, Um, if you were suddenly gifted with a certain amount of money, you know, I was talking about this earlier, 50 grand, $100,000, and you were in charge of spending that in a responsible way, in a way that you felt was going to do good for the world, do good in your own life, do good in the lives of the people around you. Would you feel confident in the way that you were going to work with that energy, to work with that money? If not, what are some of those dissenting voices that come up? What are some of those critical voices that come up in your head to make you feel that you're not skillful in this area, that you're not able to handle things in a responsible way, that you're not a safe pair of hands, as they say? Let's take a look at some of these responses. So Erin is going up a little in intensity. She's gone from a 7 to an 8, and overwhelmed at what doing it well looks like, and the fear of responsibility. Absolutely, this is such a common thing, that sense of overwhelming responsibility about, well, what if suddenly I did generate a bunch more income? What if I was gifted with a bunch of money? What if I became abundant in a way that I'm not used to? The fear of responsibility is really common around this. Kirsten says shame is the overriding feeling here, and moving again up in intensity, starting to get closer to what the core issue is here, moving from a 5 to a 6, and still feeling some resistance, but tuning into the underlying issues. Kat is solid, an 8 to an 8, feeling dread, helplessness, and drowning, I think, in disappointment. Brooke shared in a private message, so I won't share that one. Julia, 8, still at an 8, feeling fear, scarcity, and unworthiness. And Kirsten, again, feeling unworthy of living in luxury or having everything I want. So, as a survey of what we've been talking about here, we've got resistance to that sense of responsibility that would come with more money. We have disappointment, fear, scarcity, unworthiness, and yeah, this general sense of not being enough, not being worthy of creating more wealth and abundance in your life. So we can see that there's definitely some consistency between what we're experiencing around this. There's commonality in our experience, and I love this format because we get to see how we're all doing together and work through these issues together. Having support in this area is very useful. As I was talking about earlier in the call, this idea that we're somehow all supposed to be proficient with money and know what to do with it, know how to make it, doesn't really chime with the experience of going through school and the ways that we're brought up. So now that we're getting closer to the intensity of this issue, I want you to think about when this started for you. When you tune into that sense of shame, that sense of dread or helplessness around this, that sense of fear or scarcity around money, or the sense of not being worthy or not being able to get what you need, when you really tune into that, where do you go back in memory? Where does this take you? How long have you been feeling this way? And more specifically, what's the earliest time that you remember feeling this in your life? And probably this is going to take you back somewhere into childhood, but it could be teenage years as well. And we'll start massaging into these points around the top of the chest as well. Just to share here, Kyle says, stomach feeling tight. I don't feel like this is about money for me today. Kyle, that's great. You're picking up on something else that's coming up for you around this topic. Maybe there's some way that whatever issue is coming up for you is connected to this. So keep tapping on whatever is coming up for you, and you might actually find that it brings some relief around this issue of money. So again, tuning into this core feeling, this particular negative emotional sensation that you're feeling. I'm letting myself remember where this started. And tap the eyebrow point. I'm letting myself remember that time. Tap the side of the eye. I've been feeling this way for long enough. Tap under the eye. And I'd really like to take this all the way back. Tap under the nose. I'd love to get to the root of this issue for me. Tap the chin. So I'm bringing my attention to where it began. And tap the chest. Take a deep breath. Tap the front of the ribs. However long I've been feeling this way, tap the side of the ribs. I'm giving myself compassion now. Tap the inside of the wrist. I'm letting myself trace this back. Tap the thumb. Noticing the events and memories. Tap the next point that contributed to this pattern of feeling for me. And tap the next point. So we've got some people really resonating with this idea of shame. Perhaps a sense of unworthiness around money. Tap the next point. Really tune into where this started for you. And tap the next point. And now we're going to do a version of tapping where you're going to be filling in the blanks. So in the privacy of your own home, you can go into as much detail as you want around this. But just so that you can acknowledge what happened for you. Tap on the side of the hand. And we'll take just about 15 or 20 seconds to tell a story of what happened for you. Talk out loud about where you were, about how old you were, about what was happening. What was this core memory that contributed to this emotion that you're feeling around money now? Move to the next tapping point on the top of the head. We're going to tap all over the crown of the head, the back of the head, the sides of the head here. And tap the eyebrow point. Even though this happened, tap the side of the eye. And I felt really tap under the eye. I'm giving myself love and acceptance now. And tap under the nose. I want to really go slowly into this because it can take some time to fill out those memories. So as much detail as you can recall about this particular time that's coming up for you now. Tap the chin. Remember the room, remember the sights, the sounds, the smells. Remember who was involved. And quite likely this is one of those core relationships. It will be something about one of those people that was raising you, one of your caregivers, one of your family members, one of your big influences in your life, maybe a teacher, someone that you looked up to. And move down to tapping on the chest. Even though this happened, tap the front of the ribs. I'm letting myself connect with this memory now. Tap the side of the ribs. And however long ago this was, I'm giving myself compassion now. And tap the inside of the wrist. Take a deep breath. Tap the thumb. Even though this happened in my life, tap the next point. And maybe this is where I picked up this pattern. Tap the next point. I'm sending love back to that earlier version of me. Take a deep breath and see if you can do that. Send love all the way back to that younger version of you. Tap the next point. Even though this was so upsetting to me, tap the next point. It was so uncomfortable. Tap the side of the hand, sorry. And this really had an impact on me. Tap the top of the head, tapping all over here. I'm trusting that it's safe to talk about this now. Tap the eyebrow point. And I'm bringing love and compassion to my younger self. Take a deep breath as you tap on the side of the eye. And tap under the eye. This really affected me. Tap under the nose. It really affects my relationship with money now. Tap the chin. It's still causing pain in my life. Tap the chest. So I'm bringing attention to it now. Tap the front of the ribs. I'm beginning to heal this now. Tap the side of the ribs. Take a deep breath. Tap the inside of the wrist. Tune into that negative feeling again. This emotion, the sensation that's linked to that earlier experience. Notice what the intensity of it, what intensity that's at now. Is it the same? Is it lower? Is it higher? And let's acknowledge that out loud. So this feeling, tap the thumb, is right now. Tap the next point. And I'm allowing myself to connect with this moment. Tap the next point that helped create it. Tap the next point, bringing love and compassion to this younger version of me. Tap the next point, and helping to change this pattern in my life now. Tap the side of the hand. So we've got some people really feeling it right now. If you're in the intensity of this, please keep tapping, stay with this feeling, keep giving these waves of love, of acceptance, of compassion to yourself. The reason why these patterns stay so stuck is because we create them as these younger versions of ourselves, and in that moment you didn't get something that you needed. There was some sort of survival mechanism that kicked in order to help you to get through that time, but there was most likely something missing in that moment. Whatever that relationship was, whoever was involved, there was something that you wish you'd received at that time. Something that would have helped to heal this feeling. Let's move on to tap the top of the head. And if you tune into your intuition about this now, my hunch is that you already know what that is, what you needed in that moment. Tap the eyebrow point. So let's, again, speak this out loud. What I needed then was tap the side of the eye. I really needed, what was it for you? Was it support, encouragement, wisdom? Was it just some love, a hug? Tap under the eye. Even though I didn't get what I needed then. Tap under the nose. I'm allowing myself to receive it now. Tap the chin. Whatever it was that I didn't receive back then. Tap this in a circle around the chest. I'm giving that to myself now. And take a deep breath. See if you can send whatever feeling that is back to that younger version of you. Tap the front of the ribs. Notice any response from that younger version of you if you're in that memory. See if you can see that version of you receiving this thing, this support, this encouragement, this pep talk, this clarity, this feeling of safety, whatever it is for you. If the overriding feeling here was shame, maybe it's this sense of worthiness that you could somehow convey to that younger version of you. Because the chances are whatever happened in that time, it wasn't your fault. And probably it wasn't your responsibility either. Tap the side of the ribs. I'm letting myself receive this now. Tap the inside of the wrist. And I'm beginning to heal this pattern around money. Tap the thumb. It's safe for me to get what I need now. Tap the next point. However long I've been waiting for this. Tap the next point. Whatever it was that happened back then. Tap the next point. I'm letting myself feel supported and encouraged now. Tap the next point. I love and honor myself. Tap the side of the hand. And I'm recognizing I'm a different person than I was then. Tap the top of the head. Did that one land? I'm a different person than I was then. Tap the eyebrow point. I can make different choices. Tap the side of the eye. I have different resources available to me. Tap under the eye. And whatever I learned back then, tap under the nose. I can choose to learn something new now. Tap the chin. So even though I'm still feeling all of this, and fill in the blank. Tap the chest. I'm treating myself gently. Tap the front of the ribs. Coming back into integrity. Tap the side of the ribs. And getting exactly what I need. Tap the inside of the wrist, take a deep breath. Okay, let's have another quick check-in. We've been going back into this memory. We've been bringing some acceptance, some love back to that younger version of you. Tune in again to this feeling, this overriding emotion that you're dealing with during this session tonight. And again, can you share with me what the intensity was and where you're at now? And if you have a sense of it, what is holding this feeling together right now for you? When you think about money, when you think about your relationship with money, there's this feeling that comes up. We've heard about shame. We've heard about unworthiness. We've heard about hopelessness or even a sense of dread. What is it that's holding that together for you right now? And we'll come back to tapping on the chest. If you can type and tap at the same time, that's wonderful. Definitely still feeling some intensity here, some heaviness, and that's absolutely okay. We're halfway through the process here. So if you do feel like sharing, please write into the chat window where you were at, where you're at now, and what's holding this feeling together for you. So just to catch up with some of the chat that's been coming in during the session, Julia was saying also not knowing how feels very difficult, doesn't come easily. That may have been in relation to the that going back into the memory of where this came from. And if you're still feeling that way, Julia, then that's okay. We're going to be tapping about, even though it's hard to connect with these earlier memories, even though I don't know how to access these feelings around this issue. Celeste is talking about feeling abandoned by people who did care. So those people that were supporting her. That feeling of abandonment is even more intense, and right now she's on a big surge, 10, 9, up to an 11. Had no idea what I needed to, Okay, so for you, Celeste, I have no idea what I needed, even though I have no idea what I needed back then. I'm still giving myself love and acceptance. Kyle is says safety. You hit it on the head. So yeah, absolutely. A lot of these early memories are going to be about that feeling of safety. For better or worse, money is one of those things that definitely affect our feeling of safety in the world, our feeling of security. Let's see, fear of doing it wrong as well. I think this is Here we go. Erin, fear of doing it wrong, 7, 9 to an 8. And again, it's I'm not good enough. Kirsten says, needing to feel safe and unconditionally loved. Yeah, absolutely. So these are deep-rooted feelings. You see how strongly we react to this issue around money. These are absolutely fundamental emotions that we're talking about. Safety, unconditional love. Yeah, I hear that you need that, and I absolutely want you to receive that in this moment. Celeste, maybe coming down a point from an 11 to a 10. You're still right in it, love. A lot of silence. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so some people are getting a little bit more clear about what is going on for them. I hear a consistent need for safety in this area. And certainly that seems to me like one of the overriding emotions that's going to be connected to money, especially when we feel like there's not enough of it, when we're in that scarcity mode. Just one more here. Kat says, 8 to a 7, can't find a memory but feeling like a nightmare is about to break loose and I have no control over it. All I can do is brace. Yeah, absolutely, Kat. I'm feeling you there. So please keep tapping, keep breathing, and see if you can create a bit of safety for yourself. Let's all do this, actually. We'll come back to tapping on the side of the hand. Because the sense of being overwhelmed is a very big one here. And when we're at these top levels of emotion, the intensity is huge. It can feel like you're about to be swallowed up by this. So tapping on the side of the hand, even if this feels overwhelming right now, and tap the eyebrow point. I'm letting myself move slowly. Tap the side of the eye. I'm taking baby steps. And tap under the eye. And feeling as much of this as I'm able to deal with right now. Tap under the nose. Maybe I've gone far enough with this. Tap the chin. Maybe this is as much as I can handle right now. Tap the chest. If this is as far as I go, that's okay. Tap the front of the ribs. Even if I don't make any progress with this tonight. Tap the side of the ribs. I still love and honor myself. Tap the inside of the wrist. Even if all I do is uncover this feeling, tap the thumb. I'm still giving myself compassion. Tap the next point. And trusting that I'll receive. Tap the next point. Only what I need tonight. Tap the next point. Even though I feel overwhelmed right now. Tap the next point. Overwhelmed with, and say what it is. What is this feeling that's so present for you right now? And tap the side of the hand. I'm treating myself gently. Tap the top of the head. And giving myself permission to stay in this feeling. Tap the eyebrow point. Even though this feels like too much, tap the side of the eye. I'm giving myself love. Tap under the eye and allowing my body to relax. Tap under the nose and take a deep breath. And tap the chin. I'm letting myself go as far into this as I can right now. Tap the chest. But I'm also keeping myself safe. Tap the front of the ribs, trusting that I'll come out the other side of this. Tap the side of the ribs, and that whatever I'm feeling now, tap the inside of the wrist, is only temporary. And tap the thumb. Take another deep breath. Give yourself some love. Give yourself some acceptance here. So what I'd love to do at this point is to bring in one of my fellow practitioners here. If one of you is open to sharing. I know that the intensity is still high here, and I'd love to hear what it is that you're dealing with in this moment, because I have a sense that that's going to be something that the group is dealing with as well. Erin, Kirsten, are either of you open to sharing right now? We've got a little bit of hesitancy there, understandably so. I can tell you're both in it.
Yeah.
Erin.
Hey, Harry, I'm super on shame and guilt.
Yeah. All right. And where's the sticking point for you right now? Do you have a sense of what's holding it together?
It seems like it's fear of responsibility.
Yeah. Is that related to the earlier memory that you were working on?
I guess it would be repeating a pattern of irresponsibility that my parents did.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really icky, right? What does it feel like for you right now, physically, in your body? When you think about that fear of responsibility?
I mostly feel it in my solar plexus, like in my stomach, and I have like a little bit of a headache on this side.
Yeah, okay. And for everyone on the call here, you can start to do this as well to really tune into the sensation of this particular feeling. So Erin is dealing with shame right now and this fear of responsibility, feeling it as a tightness in the stomach and a headache on the right side of her head. Let's move on to tapping this next point, this first finger. And let's just do a little back and forth here, Erin, so that we can work on this particular feeling for you. And everyone tapping along at home, if this feeling of shame and this fear of responsibility really resonates with you around this topic of money, please use the same words. And if not, you can substitute whatever emotion is most alive for you right now. Move on to tapping on this next point. And we're going to come back to tapping on the side of the hand. So, Erin, I'm feeling all this shame right now.
I'm feeling all this shame right now.
And it feels like tightness in my stomach.
And it feels like tightness in my stomach.
And a pain in the side of my head.
And a pain in the side of my head.
And tap the top of the head. Take a deep breath. Tap the eyebrow point. All of this shame.
This shame.
Tap the side of the eye. All this shame.
All this shame.
Tap under the eye. I'm giving myself love even though I'm feeling this.
I'm giving myself love even though I feel embarrassed.
Yeah. Tap under the nose. So there's a slightly different spin on this. This shame is now more like embarrassment.
Yeah. Yeah, like I should have done better and I should be doing better.
Right.
Like the shame is for like the past that I didn't do good and the embarrassment is the like recent and right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Tap on the chin. I really appreciate you sharing, by the way. Like, I know it's being put on this spot, and there might be some embarrassment coming up around that, but this is powerful stuff to speak that in front of a group. Like, yeah, I'm feeling embarrassed right now.
I feel embarrassed right now.
I'm ashamed that I didn't do better.
I'm ashamed that I haven't done better around money.
Yeah. And tap the front of the ribs. And I'm embarrassed that I still feel that way.
And I'm embarrassed that I still feel this way.
And tap the side of the ribs. Let's all take a deep breath. Tap the inside of the wrist. I'd really like to do better with money.
I'd really like to do better with money.
Tap the thumb. And I feel embarrassed that I'm not doing better.
And I feel embarrassed that I'm not doing better already.
I think we can all resonate with that one, Erin. If anyone wants to chat in the window here, just to affirm the fact, like, yeah, we could all do better. Right? And yes, there's this feeling of embarrassment around this. Mm-hmm. Is there also space to give yourself some compassion around this?
Yeah.
Like, how would you have known how to do better?
Yeah, I needed better resources, and everybody was doing the best that they could at the time.
Right. Okay. And tap the next point. I needed better resources then.
I needed better resources.
Tap the next point. I needed more support.
I needed more support.
Tap the next point. I still need better resources.
I still need better resources.
Tap the side of the hand. And I still need more support.
And I still need more support.
I'm sure everyone at home can resonate with that one too. Yes, we all need more resources and we all need more support around this. It's just not something that we deal with very often. And yeah, there's definitely some support coming in for you right now. So thank you for modeling this for us so gracefully. Tap the top of the head. It's okay that I needed better support.
It's okay that I needed better support.
Tap the eyebrow point. It's okay if I still need that.
And it's okay that I still need to be supported.
Tap the side of the eye. We all need that.
We all need support.
We all need support around money.
We all need support around money.
Right? Tap under the nose. It's possible that I could receive better support around money.
It's possible that I can receive the support that I need around money.
It's possible that that could make itself available to me.
It's possible that the support could easily become available to me.
And tap the center of the chest. I'm calling that in now.
I'm calling support for myself around money into my life.
Yeah, really nicely put. Tap the front of the ribs. And even though I still feel embarrassed,
And even though I still have this embarrassment,
tap the side of the ribs. I'm open to the possibility that it could change.
I'm open to the possibility that this could change.
And tap the top of the head. Getting some really good responses from the group here. Kyle is overjoyed. It sounds like, yes, yes, I need better support. I need better resources. Tap the eyebrow point. I'm calling that into my life now.
I'm calling resources into my life now.
Tap the side of the eye. Allowing myself to learn whatever I needed to learn then.
I'm allowing myself to learn everything I needed to learn then.
Tap under the eye. I'm trusting that that's possible.
I'm trusting that it's possible.
Tap under the nose. And treating myself with gentleness along the way.
I'm treating myself with gentleness along the way.
And tap the chin. Take a deep breath. Tap the chest. I'm giving myself compassion.
I'm giving myself compassion.
Like I would give to a friend.
Like I'd give to a friend.
Who is in need.
Who's in need.
Tap the front of the ribs. I'm letting myself find the resources and the support that I need.
I'm letting myself find the resources and support that I need.
Tap the side of the ribs. I love and honor myself.
I love and honor myself.
Tap the inside of the wrist and take a deep breath. Okay, Erin, can you tune in again to that feeling of embarrassment that you were talking about? The feeling of tightness in your stomach and that pain in the side of your head. Just like to know where you're at with this right now.
So I don't have the pain in my head anymore. It spiked a little bit during that and then left.
Mm-hmm.
And I still feel a tightness in my stomach. And it feels to me, it's like that I need to be more responsible for my choices.
Right. Yeah, and that's, I mean, thank you for saying that, because that's one of these processes that happens when we start to bring a kind of reconciliation to those earlier memories. When we start to do that, we can feel more in that role of victim, more in the role of this happened to me. And then as you begin to come out of that relationship with that memory, you begin to be able to take more responsibility for both what happened. Even if you weren't able to change the situation, you can still own it in the sense of taking responsibility now in your own life. And I think we can all resonate with that one. So thank you so much for sharing your experience here tonight, being in the spotlight for a moment. And as you can see from the chat window, we've got numbers dropping here and a lot of people really on the same page. So let's go back into this group process and we'll talk a little bit about responsibility. Thank you again. Let's come back to these points massaging into the top of the chest. I'm beginning to take responsibility for these patterns with money in my own life. Tap the eyebrow point. As the intensity of this emotion drops, tap the side of the eye. There's more space for me to make my own choices. Tap under the eye. Taking responsibility for my own patterns now. And tap under the nose. Beginning to choose how I want to relate with money. Tap the chin. And even if I've made mistakes in the past, Tap the chest. I'm treating myself with compassion now. Tap the front of the ribs. It's possible that I could create my own vision. Tap the side of the ribs for how money shows up in my life. Tap the inside of the wrist. It's possible that I could feel much more free around this. Tap the thumb. And in fact, by taking responsibility for money, and tap the first finger, and for the choices that I make around it, tap the next point. I'm creating that freedom for myself. Tap the next point. So for those of you who are still feeling really high intensity here, this might be a step beyond. I want to make sure that we get some of this positive vision in at the end of the call here. But for you, if you're really still feeling this very strongly, this big emotional spike, please just keep tapping on this feeling of, even though I'm still feeling this. Celeste, I notice you're focusing on where it is in your body, and that's perfect. So this feeling in my torso and lower back, this intensity. Keep working on that. For everyone else, let's move to the next tapping point. I'm creating this new vision of money in my life. Tap the side of the hand. Letting myself dream big. Tap the top of the head. I'm letting myself receive all of the support that I need. Tap the eyebrow point. And I'm open to the idea of learning new skills. And tap the side of the eye. It's possible for me to change this relationship. Tap under the eye to update it. Tap under the nose, because I'm not the same person that I used to be. And I can make my own choices about this. Tap the chest. I'm allowing the past to be the past. Tap the front of the ribs. And allowing the future to be really bright. Tap the side of the ribs. However long I've been playing out the same old pattern. Tap the inside of the wrist. Doesn't mean I can't change it today. Tap the thumb. I'm letting myself become a good steward with money. Tap the next point. To be a really safe pair of hands. Tap the next point. I'm letting myself do good things with the money that comes to me. Tap the next point. So that I can really trust myself with money. Tap the next point. And act as a positive force in the world. Tap the side of the hand. I love and honor myself. Wherever I'm at in this process. Tap the top of the head. I'm giving myself space to change. Tap the eyebrow point. And the freedom to stay the same. Tap the side of the eye. Above all, I'm making my own choices about money now. Letting it flow gracefully into my life. I'm trusting myself to use it wisely. Tap the chin so that it can flow through me. Tap the chest and out into the world. Tap the front of the ribs. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of the ribs, and I'm proud of myself for looking at this tonight. Tap the inside of the wrist. Whether I made progress with it or not. Tap the thumb. I love and honor myself anyway. Tap the next point. Take a deep breath. We're just going to go 1 or 2 minutes over here, just finishing off this round. Tap the next point. I'm giving myself permission to be different with money. Tap the next point. To release whatever's been keeping me stuck. Tap the next point. To heal this relationship. And I'm allowing myself to relax in the process. Tap the top of the head. I love, honor, and accept myself at every level of my being. And tap all over the body. Take a deep breath. Tap all the way down to the feet if you can reach them. And then come back for a moment to a place of stillness, eyes closed. Allowing yourself to feel the effect of this session tonight. Letting yourself ground down through your feet, through your seat. And take one more deep, full breath. Okay, we're at time here, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on this call tonight or for watching this video as a replay. Really appreciate you all doing this work. It's really powerful stuff, and you're not only doing it for you, but for all of us. As each of us becomes a better steward with money, we're helping to create a happier flow of this energy. Creating these bright points, these nexus points, where money can flow in a safe, healthy way. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you to my lovely guest practitioners, and Erin, thank you so much for sharing your experience with me and with the group tonight. I think that really helped to articulate what a lot of people were feeling around this. Erin, Kirsten, take a moment if you'd like to say goodbye to the group. Thank you so much again for being here. Sonia will be back next week, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Good night, sweet family. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Good night, everyone. See you next time.